This is the Mako 9550 Tournament Edition, and it's Mako's tournament and IGFA record-breaking reel. And today, I'm here to tell you why. That's right, if you're a Mako fan and you're somebody who fishes tournaments, and I think even more specifically, if you're somebody that's going after world records, and especially those line class records, this is the reel that you want. The reason for that is pretty simple. There's virtually no difference between this Mako and the 9550 standard, except the drag knob. And as you can see, it's got markers on it. And you might be wondering, why does that matter? And well, it matters because on a Mako, you can't really feel where that drag is. And Makos have an absolutely enormous amount of drag. So if I'm fighting a fish, I can crank this down and end up with 20, 25 pounds of drag on this reel without really knowing it. And if you're fishing, say, 6-pound test, that's a real problem. And for years, the solutions for people who fished Makos and Charltons before that was to put some nail polish or some stickers on the reel. But if you're paying the better part of $2,000 for a reel, that's really not an elegant solution. So what Mako has done for the angler that is really looking to max out the performance, they've created a new drag knob. And they've created these inserts into the drag knob so that you can dial in the drag to exactly where you want. And now Mako has a video of David Mangum doing this, where he pulls out a scale and dials it in exactly to the spot he wants it. And while I'm not sure how accurate his scale is, and you definitely have to be an advanced angler to make sure that you're pointing the rod exactly at the fish, especially if you're trying to get the most out of that drag, it does give you an option of knowing exactly where your drag is. Sort of. And I say sort of because while you do get a marker, there isn't a corresponding marker on the actual frame itself. So you do just have to remember that when you line this up with, say, the O in Mako, that's the spot that you want it to be. It's not exactly the world's most foolproof or intuitive system for dialing the drag. And if you're fishing for multiple species across multiple days, and you want to have your 1, 3, and 5 pound amounts of drag dialed in, you're gonna have to set this in a way that really makes sense and probably take a photo and really remember that. But it does not require nail polish. And if you mess up, these drag indicators are removable, so you can just pull it out and you'll be good to go. And you can also get them in several different colors, so if you want to have multiple markers for multiple species, you can do that as well. But is this the best Mako out there? Let's find out by walking through our 5 factors, starting with the drag. And I'm going to do this a little bit faster than usual because we've actually already reviewed a Mako 9550, and by and large, this reel is exactly the same. And as you'd expect with a Mako, this has a sealed drag and it puts out a ton of drag strength. And like the standard 9550 Mako, you're gonna get somewhere in the 15 to 16, 17 pounds of drag out of this reel. It's really got a ton of drag and it's very smooth. It's also got Mako's standard single turn drag, so you can mark it and know that somewhere along the way, it'll go from very little drag to about 15 pounds. And of course, being a Mako, this is designed for saltwater and it is sealed. And in our experience, one of the most sealed reels there is. Before we continue, I wanted to let you know about Trident Travel, our new destination travel service where you'll get our expert planning and guidance at no additional cost. That means no credit card fees, no booking fees, and for a limited time, you'll even earn Trident rewards on your travel bookings. So for every trip you book, you'll be earning valuable points that you can use towards free tackle here at Trident. Recently, we've had some clients go on some absolutely fantastic trips like bone fishing in Belize, salmon fishing in British Columbia, and trout fishing in Iceland. So if you're thinking about taking a fly fishing trip, Trident Travel is the way to do it. We've got a ton of great destinations, excellent service, and even more destinations being added every month. Check us out at tridentflyfishing.com/travel. Next up is the Spool, and we've got a max diameter of 4 inches, a width of 1.2 inches, and an arbor size of 2.65 inches. And just like last time, that's going to yield a retrieval rate of 9.62 inches per turn, or about 125 turns for your 100-foot fly line. And that's not absolutely insanely fast, but it is more than fast enough. In terms of capacities, this reel will hold about 200 yards of 30-pound Dacron with an 11-weight fly line. Of course, if you're fishing a Mako, you probably should be fishing a higher-end backing like Power Pro, and you can probably fit 350 yards of 40-pound Power Pro on this Mako tournament. If you're wondering why 40-pound, the answer is this reel is basically designed for those Tippet class records and IGFA style leaders, so you can't go over 20-pound anyway. 40-pound, more than enough. In terms of weight, the standard Mako 9550 is already fairly heavy, and they have made this even heavier. This reel comes in at 14.88 ounces, which is absolutely enormous. This is the better part of a pound for a standard tarpon reel. Now, it is a big game reel, but even for that class, this reel is insanely heavy, and the fact that it's gotten even heavier, I think, makes this of even more limited use. In terms of sound, things haven't really changed. It's got a pleasant incoming and outgoing click that sounds a little different, and well, let's take a listen. Next up are the Ergonomics, and by and large, they have also not changed from the standard 9550. You've still got the awesome, really good big game handle. The spool comes off very easily. What has changed, as we already talked about, is the drag knob. And the drag knob here can be gripped from the outside really easily. And this is a big upgrade. Frankly, on the standard Mako, you have to either palm it or kind of stick your fingers in. This drag knob is just way, way better. And I like that you can mark it, even if it's not quite the be-all, end-all solution. So from an ergonomic standpoint, this is definitely a better reel than the standard Mako. And that brings us to the price, which is $1890 currently. And that is, just in case you were wondering, $400 more than the standard Mako. And that really brings us to the question of whether or not this drag knob is worth $400. And I think that's a question that you're gonna have to answer for yourself. Personally, if you're spending this much money on a Mako and the weight doesn't bother you, if you're doing something like sight casting to tarpon, I think this reel's a no-brainer. It is better in almost every way and solves one of the key issues, if you will, with the standard Mako. On the flip side of that coin, this isn't really a fully baked solution to the problem. If I was able to mark the frame in a sort of reasonable way, that I could line this up and really know where my drag was at any given point, I think that would be a lot better. When you're fighting a fish, you just don't want to be messing with it. And if you're going for a record, especially a record for a fish like a tarpon or a permit, or something that is really contested, and that 2, 4, 6-pound test class is going to be something that is very challenging, and you have to get a very large fish to beat the record. It's just not something that you're going to want to deal with. And I think I would probably also mark the frame just to be sure that I was on the right spot, even though I had these indents already there. My memory is just not all that good, and when you get buck fever, you don't want to lose your world record fish. Other than that, I think the tournament edition is a really great upgrade to an already great reel. Unfortunately, it comes at a price that, well, actually probably everybody who already owns a Mako has no problem paying. Let us know what you think about the Mako Tournament Edition by leaving us a comment in the box below. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We've got lots of great reel reviews coming right up. And of course, if you've got questions about this tournament edition, give us a call at 888-413-5211 or email us 24/7 at support@tridentflyfishing.com. I'm Ben. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.